hello, I'm MC Toon, the worst rapper in the world. Today is a special one. We're not doing the regular debate, and plus it's a Monday and it's earlier and all that. So today I have with me the creator of The Conspiracist. How are you doing there, sir?
Very well, thanks, mate. Yourself?
I'm great. It's been a good day today. Little little easy at work. Not a lot of people there and real quiet. So that was good.
Good stuff.
So I've got a couple things to go over here before we get into it. But I'd like to say, being that 'tis the season, Merry Christmas, Happy Festivus, and Nesgadol Hayasham to my Israeli and Jewish friends. So how you doing? How you doing over there in England today? It's kind of late for you, huh?
Yeah, it's midnight here. We're all good over here. We've had quite kind weather for the winter so far, but I expect that to get a bit worse in January, February, as it tends to do in England.
Yeah, yeah. We've had it's been decent here, except for last week when it was, during the live stream it was so cold. So, all right, I got a couple housekeeping things here. First, if you're new, make sure you click and like and the subscribe and stuff like that. I did a thing with Nerial, our Round Thinker channel, called Round Thinker, where we measured the angle to the sun, and he did a video on that already. Put out his results, and I did measurement. We got another one at least. Somebody else did one and had some issues with the measurement. And then I know there's a Heat Shield is still. He did some measurements and maybe has to report it. So if anybody else measured the angle of the sun, make sure you go to. I put a community post that has a link to my website where you can, or you just go to my. It's not on my website. You'll have to go to the community post. To see where to submit your results, or you can contact me. I'll send it to you too. So I also have, thanks to Punchy's in the chat here. Punchy and I, he had some ideas on some merchandise that he said he'd be interested in wearing. So I made some new shirts. The old one was old. It's been a year since I came up with the Operation of Strategic Influence idea, so that's kind of old. So there's a link to that, and then also, oh yeah, so the shirt it's the MC Toon logo, and with some quotes. I quote, the first one is, "I'm sorry, did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours?" From I think that's come up twice, and then when I was debating Santosh, he said 8 inches per mile, and I said, well, you didn't even get the wrong formula right. So those two sayings are on the shirts if you're interested. And then I'll get some others. If you have ideas, feel free. Finally, I also, with thanks to Punchy again, I turned on channel memberships. If anybody's interested, we have I created four levels: Newton, Einstein, Buzz Aldrin, and Sheldon Cooper levels. And you'll see the descriptions, but anybody you'll get a call out. You get your name up on the wall here. I'll get rid of this thing here. And at the Sheldon Cooper level, which would be the one that's perfect for Green Bullion, you get your name right here. So Green Bullion, I'm looking forward to you being a member there. So all right. And then, upcoming next week, I do have somebody who's asking when's my next live debate. Next week, I'm debating Chuck Burden, who last week couldn't make it. We rescheduled. So, and that's being hosted by FTFE. So that's Monday next week. And then I have Red Pill Philosophy contacted me yesterday, and we're gonna set up something in January. Same thing, and then. Modern day debates. We've been talking a little bit. We're going to get something going. So that's all I have for intro here and housekeeping. So now to the topic at hand. And the name of the episode at The creator's suggestion was FLERFLIFE, an exploration of flat Earth psychology and habitat. Woo! Sorry, my microphone fell. Can you hear me?
All good.
Still working. All right. So what do you think about that? That was your name for the title.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've kind of wanted to talk about for a while. I mean, I'm the first person to admit I couldn't sit here and explain to you a lot of the science behind why we are on the planet we're on. I personally know, based on how to analyze, studied research over centuries, and that's why I never became a debunker, because frankly, that's not my area of expertise. I'm more interested in it by the psychology, because I've always found that cult behavior fascinating, and it's an in-depth exploration into people, really, and when they sort of go down a rabbit hole and get trapped by something. And it's a subject, like I say, I wanted to discuss, because I just think there's a lot of people wasting their time and wasting their lives on something that's nonsense.
All right, sorry, my kid came in and dropped off. I'll show you. A unicorn showed up. It's got wings. It's
I wasn't expecting that.
It's a pegacorn. Sorry. I don't know why it's in here, but it's with me for extra unicorn power. Okay. I'm sorry. So I missed the last thing you said.
That's quite all right. I mean, yeah, the psychology behind it, I think that's the most important part to explore in a lot of ways, because scientific evidence doesn't seem to sit well with a lot of these people. I think it's actually beyond that point for a lot of people, because their realities become so distorted by their own choices, I suppose, to only look for things like confirmation bias, only look for things that further their beliefs. And I actually think it's like a mental health disorder, but I'm not trying to be to trivialize something like that. But I think that's how it needs to be looked at, because there's a lot of people wasting their time, and it's a bit sad.
Yeah,
that's my major concern. I mean, like, I don't agree with berating people who think differently. No one ever had their mind changed by a conversation's never happened where someone went, "You're an idiot," and they gone, "Good point." That's just not something that's ever happened.
You get defensive.
So I think I think it's more important to help them understand. And I mean, for people who are not familiar with my show, I have written a mockumentary, but I'm not trying. I don't make any nasty jokes. I'm actually I've got a narrative in there that does basically my character. He's a flat earther. He's a conspiracy theorist. He's also a very lonely dude. I know there's a lot of people. I can see a lot of people in the chat. I know a fair few of them have been watching quite a lot of my episodes, and they'll be able to say, I've written it like that because I think that is a big part of it. There's a lot of people have gone off the rails somewhere, and it is just a bit sad, like, for them, not to be nasty. Just, I think it's more important. It's important to look at it like that than belittling people.
Yeah. And I've always tried to do my best to do that in treating people fairly.
There's a limit.
yeah. You get fed up, and at times I've gone too far. If I could take a minute here, Minus has just become a member. Thank you very much. He's He's at the Einstein level, and you can see he got the emoji there, the high IQ can of tab. So that's the first emoji. I'll have more to come, but if you have ideas, share them with me. But that was the first one. Thank you very much, Minus. Yeah, I try hard to in my debates and in my videos, like press hard, like I didn't give Rob Skiba any any grace in what I think is his knowing lies that he's telling, but still not just belittling him or insulting him. So, flat out hero. I hope people think that I was gentle with him in some ways. I think when he was trying to suggest that I was lying, I was going after him, but then we had a debate and it was pretty decent. So yeah. So I've got a couple topics, and I know you do too. I think it might be good to, there. I know I see a plain truth is in here, and this isn't debunking, right? That it's not flat, and there isn't a question about it, so the question then to us is what will it be that what is the end of them, right? When of course there's always going to be people that are hanging on, that just say, I don't care, my religious belief. There's going to be a couple, but what will it be? When will it be? How long might it take or what event might be necessary for them to say, nah, it's not. And not them, I mean, like, basically everybody else in the world, when somebody's like, hey, watch this video, and everybody says, yeah, that was junk, no matter their education level, whatever. Well, what is that?
I mean, I think that's a very expansive. That's a very expansive topic. It's because there are different types of people who believe in this sort of thing. There are some people that they're in it for the money. Some people, it's a narcissism thing. It's suddenly there's somebody, there's something, and then they don't want to let go of that. There's people that are tricked and fully manipulated for their cash, whether they're actually paying these people money themselves directly or whether they're just watching their content. They're still being exploited to varying degrees. And I think those people are the ones that feel a bit shit when they finally work it out. They're the ones that will phase out. You'll get the people, like you say, hanging on, like the hardcore people, kind of arrogantly and stubbornly. I think you'll get a lot of people that they don't want to let go of this power that they've suddenly got, this sense that there's somebody. Like, there's a lot of I see a lot of flat earthers who they love it. It's a selfie fest. You watch the Flat Earth International Convention, and it's just Mark Sargent getting a pat on the back from all these various people having selfies taken, and people are bringing in like little care packages and gift boxes and things like that. And
yeah, I was there, and wherever he went, there was a little bit of people coming behind him. Not a ton. Not like a bunch of puppies or
he's good at his own marketing. I'll give him that.
He is. You know what? He's very pleasant.
I bet he is.
Absolutely.
I don't. It's not many of them that I think are like. I don't actually think any of them are bad people.
I think some are.
But yeah, I mean, you might have. I mean, I have seen some of them getting really rude and disrespectful and personal, and that's why I do understand the people that, don't get me wrong, to all the debunker community, the ones that do have a go at them, I get it, because some people are at their wits' end. Like, I've been watching the debunker community for almost a year, I think, maybe a bit more. And it was actually I used to do another little channel, just sort of doing voiceover stuff, practice for what I'm doing now. But I don't have that constant backwards and forwards with them, where they've been disrespected so much. Like the debunkers have been disrespected, and they're probably at their wits' end and just, oh God, so I just can't be bothered to be polite to this person anymore. So I'm sure there are some out there, but like, I think they've all got. You can tell they've all got traits that are decent, like to varying degrees. I think Simon Dan hit on a point the other day in one of his videos. You pointed out to me actually how everyone, these these people have clearly got people who love them. They clearly love people. Everyone should be kind. I think that was it's an important message, because, like I say, no one's ever going to turn around and go, when they're being called an idiot or a retard, and go, yeah, do you know what? I never thought of it like that. Like, that's not how you're going to change someone's mind. And incidentally, I think that is it's on topic, but it's a different branch. You might, obviously, most people are aware of the Westboro Baptist Church.
Yeah.
So we in England tend to have seen our Louis Theroux documentaries about them, and I have looked into some of their stuff they're now doing online. And one of the elder daughters who left the family, she ended up doing a TED talk, and she went through the process of how she became unindoctrinated. And bear in mind, she came from her family; she was born into it. Like, it's one thing rejecting so and so on the internet and saying their opinion doesn't matter, but when you're talking about your mum and your dad and all your family, and then suddenly going, that's a bitter pill to swallow. And one of the things she said though was, the people that changed her mind were the people on Twitter that were nice to her. Because at first they started calling her out for her beliefs, and she would argue back, and even in her own words, she was rude to them, she was horrible to them. And where they relentlessly tried to kill her with kindness, or kill her beliefs with kindness, she started listening, and suddenly she started thinking, hang on a minute, I've been really horrible to these people, but yet they're really polite to me, and they clearly just care, And I know there's a lot of the debunker community that treat it like that as well, which is important, because they're human beings, they're people. I don't want to. I hate saying they, like they're another species, but kindness is the route to getting people out of this rabbit hole, because. And it's the same with the Westboro Baptist Church. Like she said, it was those strangers, the kindness of strangers, that took the time to logically break it down for her, were the ones that saved her, in her own words. And she feels terrible for her group of people was a lot more hate-filled. They were the stuff that the Westboro Baptist Church did, and I don't know if they still do. I know they still exist. That's a lot more hate-fueled than Flat Earth. Like, I'm not as concerned with I remember when I first started chatting to a few people in one of the Facebook communities, I was saying, well, is it really dangerous? And one of them argued that, well, yeah, this is like how Scientology started, and look what that's become. I don't really know exactly what it's become, but we've all got we've all seen hints of that. Whereas I don't think flat earthers are going to get organised enough to be that detrimental. So that's the fundamental difference. But the logic's still there. You're not going to... I think flat earthers are only wasting their own time, rather than spewing too much negativity on other people. If that still makes sense to what we were talking about. I'm not sure by this point.
Yeah. Well, so if I can... That started with the question... Well, let me first say, just to interrupt this for a second here. Thank you very much. I'm just blown away. Punchy, Cretan Bull, C4. Thank you so much. And then minus for moving up to the Buzz Aldrin level, which of course will please 33UC a whole lot. So the question that started that part was what will be the thing, if there is, that will be the end? Like, only just a couple fringe people will be left, and no new ones. I have an idea.
It will be. Go for it.
I think, space exploration, right? Space tourism is maybe something else, but I think that is the thing that's near that would really do it. And I've asked a couple when I was at the conference. I asked Robert Forsch if he would go up on any one of the ships from Blue Origin or Virgin Galactic or SpaceX. He said he would not go. But I asked who was it? Oh, Flat Earth Fokker. He said he would in a second. Like, good for him, right? I love that. So I think once enough people have gone that there's maybe only 2 degrees of separation between you and somebody that's gone, then everybody knows somebody that's kind of close. It's like, I've been there. I saw the curve, so I'm not going to listen to you. You don't make any sense, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that would do it. But of course, that's quite a ways out, right? They've only 8 people have paid to go to space.
Yeah, that's a while away.
And that's not many, and they were in the $30 million a person. So you need to get it cheaper, and of course that's what I don't remember if it's Virgin Galactic or Blue Origin that has sold a whole pile of them. Once they're going, and a lot of people have been, that's something. Then once, you need 1 million people that have gone, maybe.
I'd say even more. I mean, I remember discussing this with a friend a long time ago about cult behaviour, and argument's sake, it's like a belief. And although it be the film Dogma, Chris Rock had a line in that film, it's better to have an idea than a belief, because you can change an idea, people will die over a belief.
Oh, yeah.
Although much more severe in the case of like religion, which is what he was talking about in Dogma. Give you an example. So when someone is... When a group of people, like a religious group, are convinced that the world's going to end on the 21st of September 2021, and this is how it's going to happen, there's no 2 ways about it, and they're trying to scrabble together at the last minute to repent in their eyes. When the world doesn't end, none of them go, I might have been wrong about that.
Yeah.
They just go, we must have repented enough. They'll find a way around it. And what I'm getting at is, argument's sake, Mark Sargent, Flat Earth Fokker, and a couple of the other people go to space, take pictures, nice selfies. They come back and they say to Nathan Thompson, a few other flat earthers that, by the way, turns out we were wrong. They're going to go,
you're a shit.
No, you must have been drugged, put in a simulation. All your space training was fake, but you think you've been because you've had your. Do you know what I mean? They're going to find a way around it, or some of them. It'll be good enough for some people, but there'll be people that are so fixated on it that I don't. There's some people I don't think you're ever going to convince otherwise. I really don't.
Yeah, and I think it's more that there can be basically no new converts. You dry up the supply of new, and it'll just wither,
Yeah, I think that's probably it's a fight that can be won. Certainly, you're never going to stop certain movements. For example, there's always going to be people progressively recruiting new followers, but Flat Earth is just it's the strangest one I've ever come across, in that doesn't seem to be any logic to it. It's like, why would you bother at this point in time? Think about if it was flat and it was all being covered up and all these fuels are being paid off and everyone's being lied to. Think about how much of a drain in resources that actually would be to keep that up for decades. You get to a point where you just go, funny story, that was a wind-up all along. Can we just pretend that never happened? The Earth's a sphere. Can we just spend these resources doing other things?
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth the hundreds of trillions of dollars every year to perpetuate this. No one's gaining out of it. It's not like you've got, there's certain conspiracy theories you can see a logic in someone gaining over. But this isn't one of them. And people, when they go along the sheeple lines and stuff like that, it's just like, well, just because you don't think the Earth is flat doesn't mean you believe anything you're told. It's just that this is so absurd. I can't even believe I'm sitting here having a chat about it sometimes. I bet you must have their moments yourself as well. You're just like, I'm an adult.
I tell you,
I'm talking about the shape of the earth to other adults.
I get up. Sometimes I get up in the morning. I'm like, is this the real life? You know, like when people get their wisdom teeth out. Is this real life? Are there really people that think the earth is flat? It's such a far out there thing, right? You know, the one step further is, you know, shape-shifting lizards. Like, that's the next step. Like, I don't know if there's really any...
I would argue that's more sensible and logical than flat earth, though, to be honest. I would.
Oh, because the physics doesn't work on either, of course. They just violate everything. It's but, you know, some of them, they say, why would they lie? And they get a list of stuff that really, you know, hide land, free energy, like... Why would they just not go get the land and if free energy? How is free energy tied to any of it? It's not. And there is no free energy. But oh crud. They to hide the creator, they say, to hide the truth. Like, but all the people that have to be in on it. If the truth over here that they're hiding is so pervasive and convincing, then all of the people involved would say, oh, I'm convinced. I'm breaking rank and I'm going to go tell everybody. But nobody has. So if nobody has, how aggressive is their control? I mean, that is tight. There's only one way to silence somebody for real. Right? So then you see people that say they are censoring us and they're trying to hide them. They this, right? Well, if they were doing what you are saying they're doing, you wouldn't be around to say these things, right? Because they would silence you. And in fact, you never would have heard about it. You know, it would have been Robotham. It would have been Eric Dubay and Mark Sargent that never would have put those videos out in the first place. Yet, you go to their channel, they have hundreds of videos on there with millions of views. Somehow, they aren't censoring very well.
Absolutely. I mean, if you have to actually cultivate a whole colony of people to pull off this, you know, facade, as it were, if it was true, you know, if this firmament and this fake space and fake sun and moon and volcanoes and everything, if this was all, think about the manpower of that, and you have to actually cultivate a colony of people to uphold it that don't have any cares for family, that you can separate from society completely and basically live, you know, put them in a camp somewhere just for the, you know, you talk about like mass slavery, and let's assume it's been going on for 100 years. How many people would have died knowing this stuff that would have definitely on their deathbed gone to their kids, like, yeah, take this disc. Probably not. You wouldn't have said that in the, you know, like 1930s, admittedly. This wouldn't have been around. But here's the evidence. Go and release the truth. Like, no one's done it. It would have come up. Like, someone on their deathbed out of the hundreds of thousands of people that have passed away with this alleged knowledge would have gone, yeah, by the way, you know, in your dying seconds, you're like, the earth's flat and here's the proof.
Yeah. If we take a break here for a second,
Sure.
Another member, Beach 8. Wow, thank you very much. Another Einstein member even. Super. And we've got Multi-Tom Tom in the chat. Says, Tommy, I will debate you, idiot. Tommy, be careful. Multi-Tom Tom doesn't show up for debates. He likes to pull a Joey. Green Bullion. How can I... Green Bullion wants to know how I can get your sticker. Green Bullion. All you need to do is you click that member thing there, and you need to go to the what the heck? I can't remember. Sheldon Cooper. You need to be a Sheldon Cooper level a member, and then you can get your sticker, Green Bullion, right here. Whatever sticker you want, as long as it's, you know, family friendly. You put it right there. And let's see. We got the plain truth in there. We got a couple flatties in here. He called me Green Billion called me a pussycat. So thank you very much for that. Everybody, maybe Green Billion needs a little high IQ research. You could send him some tabs. So all right. We got a few other things. I think for a lot of them too, it's they get there's a community. Everybody needs community.
Yeah.
And once you're in the community, you don't want to leave, right? They're your friends. That's your thing. And so there's this not just, is it flat or not, but there's these other things that are in there saying, pushing you that make you want it to be flat, just so that you can stay in the community, right? And so to somebody like Seek Truth, Speak Truth, he I don't know how much he was in the community, but 'cause I didn't see what he did really before, but he if you've seen his videos, he's getting pretty attacked from the flat earthers.
Yeah, and that's sad. I mean, when I first saw him, I knew straight away this guy's obviously a nice fella. He's got his ears open and he's receptive. When I saw Conspiracy Cats is probably the guy I've been watching for the longest, and I've always liked the way he approaches people with a bit of empathy, a lot of empathy, in fact. And that's what he did with Seek Truth, Speak Truth. And I imagine they've had their own private discussions, and it's what helped the guy come round. And I think that's something everyone can kind of learn from, because although it took someone like Seek Truth, Speak Truth, who is open-minded, to be that receptive, some people aren't going to be that receptive. But it's important to learn from the way Cats addressed it all.
Yeah.
And rather than being belittling and whatnot, I think he just talked him round. I mean, one thing I've looked into how people get manipulated by cults, and I watched a video recently, and one of the things I really want to stress is no one is above manipulation. Just because someone's being manipulated by something doesn't mean they're stupid. And there's actually a lot of similarities between any group of people. You can actually, I've looked into the far right political movements. A lot of them are, again, it's there's a community there. There's a sense of belonging. Some people they might harbour like far right beliefs, but no one around them does. When they meet these other people that think similarly, they've suddenly got a sense of community.
Yeah,
it's like with any of them.
You're comfortable.
The ones that get pulled into the right.
Yeah, people will reciprocate your views instead of attacking you for it.
Yeah,
it's comforting.
Yeah, and I want to go back to something when you were talking a minute ago. You kept on saying how the flat earthers always going, they do this, they do that. That is very symptomatic in itself of paranoid schizophrenics. And I'm not
of what
I'm not having a go. It's the they construct is very symptomatic of paranoid schizophrenics, and that's I mean that in the way that there's always an attacker, like an antagonist, and they can't actually pinpoint who it is. It's always a they are talking about me. They are planning this in that disorder. Because that's to an extent, I think flat Earth is for some people, not for everyone. For some people, it is a massive paranoia. You get schizophrenic people thinking, "Oh, the government are listening to me. The government are following me." So they're not. You're boring. Like, you haven't got anything interesting to survey. I know people who are like reclusive, who think the government are surveying them. They're not.
No, nobody's gang stalking you. Nobody's sending 5G signals into your brain.
Exactly. But that is actually a sad symptom of paranoid schizophrenics. It's like they get a delusion of grandeur, and they think it's a narcissism to narcissists. So if we saw a narcissist, we go, "That's just a narcissism." But paranoid schizophrenics is that they're not, and this isn't conclusively. I'm not having a go, and this is something I do actually know about to an extent. I'm not an expert, but I've met people and worked in a sector where come across it quite a bit, and often there is this sense of. I remember Mark Sargent behind the curve saying, "We are the centre of the universe." Dead straight face. He wasn't joking, and you're not. Like, the universe doesn't give a shit about you. Like, you could combust tomorrow, but no, the planets are still the universe will still expand. Like, this is just the way it will go down. you little speck on a tiny ball is not altering. No one's got an agenda to take you down to further their own because you're an obstacle. You're not standing in the way of them and greatness. That's just a delusion of grandeur, and it's like I say, it is a disorder. Is what I'm getting at, I suppose.
Yeah. Like,
some of them
yeah,
are just getting the money.
Yeah. They're like they say they want to be humble, but then they're the center. Yeah, have you seen the people that are like, I know more about the heliocentric model than most regular people?
I've seen a few.
A few, yeah.
Gems.
So Multi Tom Tom doesn't know who you are. Multi Tom Tom, he is the creator of The Conspiracist. Go watch his videos. The link to his channel is in the description. So, and Green Bullion wants on. Green Bullion, I covered what is necessary for you to join if you want to come in for a debate. One of the things is you have to join the Pen 15 Club. You write pen and then 15 on your hand or your forehead is best. Then you're in the club. You got to do it on camera. So you're welcome to come in for a debate once you join the Pen 15 Club and the other requirements. I should get that. Sorry if he's a silly one. I have debated him. I don't know if you saw it, and he just kept bringing up like newspaper articles with the number 33 in it. And he thought that was proof of something. So, all right, there is the requirements for you. Yeah, requirement number 6 is the Pen 15 Club. So there you go, everybody. All right. Yeah, Green Bullion says he schooled me. He never once actually did anything that was evidence of flat Earth. So I don't know if that's schooling, then I guess I was schooled. So
not much you can say sometimes, is there? But if you want to define it like that, that's up to you.
Yeah, and Russian vids. So I saw Nathan Thompson. I spoke to him briefly at the convention. We had a short, cordial interchange, and Nathan said that he was watching the debate with myself and Russian vids, yelling at the screen because Russian vids didn't respond how he wanted him to respond, right? So, Russian vids. I'm like, because I trapped Russian vids. You want to know how I trapped him? I trapped him by convincing him. This is good. To back the side of the debate that was untrue. That's how I trap them. So, all right. So yeah, have you seen them where they say they know more about they think that they know more, because but for the most part they've memorized some numbers, right? The Earth is spinning this fast, and it's going this way, and it's doing this, and the tip is that. But then they'll ask things like, how does a vacuum be next to a pressure be next to a vacuum? But that's not the claim. So you must not know that part of the model because there is no claim that there's a pressure adjacent to a vacuum.
Yeah.
You know what I do find though is they have these other conspiracy theories that they roll in, right, for some reason, and some of them are really not that smart, and particularly distasteful, right? So, I'll give you the people of Earth. I've talked to him quite a bit lately. I'll put his link in there. If you guys want to go look at some of his stuff, he has kind of sorted out, and he addresses some of the more distasteful things and fringe things. So have a look at some of what he does. But you do see this anti-Semitism is very common.
Yeah.
And that's things like that are just so. Why is it that there's this such a large amount of that in this group, percentage-wise.
Do you know what? Now you say that, the two flat earthers I know about in real life, as in either an old friend, one of them's an old friend, one of them's a friend of a friend. They've both got big Islamophobic tendencies as well. They're sharing the stuff they share is very like biased in that direction, as it were. It seems to be a set. It's not always, obviously, but I don't know. It's too much to be a coincidence.
Yeah, and Hard on My Sleeves says, Effie is a psyop to paint all conspiracies with the same tinfoil brush to render all conspiracies impotent. And that's another part of the mindset. Like, because that's silly. It's not a psyop. The government really, that they can hardly handle what they do. Like, to have layers and layers of psyops. It's just, I don't know. So, all right. So anti-Semitism, free energy. Like, so many of them think that free energy is real. Like, have you seen that too?
No.
Like Nathan Thompson's like, I've seen a whole bunch of people, basically violating the laws of physics, machines. It does go hand in hand with not really understanding the science, right? Because I don't know, it's just silly. I can't even have a conversation with somebody that thinks that free energy is real. Right?
Yeah, it's not one of the ones that I've seen them talking about.
Yeah. There seems to be a lot of vegans, for some reason. And then the giant tree.
It must
stumps.
be something in the YouTube like playlist algorithm or something.
It must.
Next.
It must be. You got, I don't know. We don't need to just list off who it is, but it's prevalent. I love the giant tree stumps. They look at. Oh, it's so funny. They look at the buttes and plateaus in like Australia and in like Arizona and America here. And they're like, that's a tree stump. Like, because it looks like a tree stump, it's a tree stump. Apparently. So, and then some of them, well, let's take a poll here. Green Bullion, who else is still in here? Hip Hop Hippie's still in here. And Multi Tom Tom. What is your favorite piss-based beverage? Do you like to mix it with ice? Do you like to put some cocktails in there? Maybe some gin. Green Bullion. Maybe something green for you? A green beverage, or what's your favorite? Just put it in the chat. We'll see. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Flat Earth Paradise. He shut off his channel because it was the solstice. And I went on his Facebook group, Friends of Devin Maggi. And if you want to see some people that are, like you were talking about before, where if they say something's going to happen and then it doesn't happen, they still believe. They start making up these excuses. And I'm like, whoa, you got to understand, it's not, you believed in something that wasn't real. So Devin thought, from Flat Earth Paradise, thought that all the people were going to go away. Like all the people that did their blood over intent goofy thing were going to go to Hyperborea, just like float away. And so like he shut down his channel, and there were people even on the Facebook page, like in the days leading up to it, they're like, go have fun, max out your credit cards. None of it matters because you're going to be gone in a few days. I don't know how many people did. But I'm like, don't do that. And then then they're in there. They're like, oh yeah, well no, it's actually the solstice is actually on this day, the 25th, or on the 28th, or something else. And so they're like, oh, that's when it's really going to happen. And they're all just sitting there waiting, like, oh, I hope it goes. The problem is, like, it's a little harmful because you get these people that believe it, and then they start making changes in their life based on that, and it's not wise.
No, it's and that's where it becomes problematic when you get people. I mean, in that specific example, like if someone was to get into tremendous amounts of debt, that's when you've done damage to other people's lives.
Yeah.
I
Oh, so we need critical thinking as a good question. Is this stereotyping?
Which part?
I guess whatever we're talking about is.
I suppose it is, yeah. To
Yeah,
be honest.
Absolutely.
We're having to generalise because we're not talking about anything specific. So, in that sense, yeah. So, any specific types of conversation you want us to have, we could discuss it. But yeah, we're talking generally, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh man, we got some more flat earthers in here. We got Gathica the Sea Eagle. The Earth measures flat and stationary, no curve detected.
I'm convinced.
All right, I'm in. Where do we sign up?
Yeah.
So, and then all right. So that's a good. We can a good segue to the evidence-based things, right?
The habitat.
The.
Well, I mean, I think because that's something that I think is quite interesting in itself. Like, I've always wanted to just have a chat with people about what if it was flat? What would it? Argument's sake, let's picture we're in some big snow globe. There's a dome. There's an ice wall. No one knows what's on the other side. The space is fake. The sun and the moon are inside the dome with us. Right, go. How much would it take to uphold that? What's the firmament made of? What would you'd have to have a maintenance team positioned somewhere like offshore oil riggers that were part of the people that were colonized and bred just for this purpose and enslaved that are running it all up there away from everyone. They do the sun, the moon, everything. Like they've got subcontractors somehow. Like they're going to need resources. Like there's going to be a company that just take them food, for example. Like who does their sanitary products? You know, it's what would it take? It's just
to just be. I mean, there's two parts to it. What would it be like if it was actually flat, and then what would it take to cover it up? Right, kind of the two parts. You wouldn't have to have, like we joke. I've seen people joke about, you'd have to have maintenance crew up on, keeping the inside of the firmament shined up or polished. Whatever, you don't. But what other maintenance would be necessary? I think probably, I don't know, but to hide it, how do you?
Well, for example, the sun would need some sort of nuclear reactor inside. Whatever is representing the sun would need some sort of reactor inside it, surely, to provide wireless power. It's not plugged in to your normal 13 amp fuse. Like that's definitely a 3-phase electrical wire at least, surely. And I don't know anything about that sort of stuff, but I know that's
definitely 3-phase. Thank you, Tesla, for the 3-phase alternating current. They love Tesla. They love their Tesla. So I don't know. I would have to think that would be self-maintaining, right? That whatever. I don't know.
Well, it's not Oompa Loompas, is it?
No, there's no Oompa Loompas.
That'd be funny though, wouldn't it? I want to.
Uh-oh. You froze.
I wonder if we could get FECU to make an animated video of Oompa Loompas repairing.
That'd be fantastic.
That'd be brilliant. I'll take them.
Someone love Tesla, hate SpaceX. Yes, exactly. That's funny. Yeah, what would it be? So like there's no explanation. No flat earthers ever actually explained how the sun stays up. Ever.
No.
Nothing. They have they've never even tried. They just like, oh, it stays up. I guess a couple of they're like, oh, it's plasma, and so it floats. Like, floats on what? Like the atmosphere is. That doesn't like you didn't even think about that. I don't know, like Australia wouldn't get it would not be summer in Australia. It wouldn't get warm enough. The sun wouldn't be there enough. The sun stays up due to density, says A. What? Like, it doesn't make sense. The plain truth, this is not meant for flat earthers. This is a discussion between normals about what it is.
At least he acknowledges normal.
And why we're just having an honest discussion about why this happens even.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear, I'm never into having a go at people. Like, to anyone watching, I have empathy for this sort of thing, because I don't want to see anyone chucking their life away. I think there's a lot of time and effort could be spent being productive rather than... You can't change the definition of stuff and get upset with the results of experiments based on your own... Some things are facts. Like opinions... An opinion isn't more important than a fact. Just because it's someone's opinion doesn't mean they can't be wrong. Like, there's some things that are just facts. And... what's the best? I can't believe I'm having this conversation again. It's one of them moments where you just go, I'm tired of him.
I did, yeah. I can't either sometimes.
I mean, this is why I've written in my narrative, my character that I play, Brian Kirby, that's not really me, by the way. If anyone doesn't know, I know you do, and I speak to Phil Blacker and Tommy a bit outside of YouTube. I wrote him because, his name's Kirby, for God's sake. I wrote him to try and... that's what I want to do. I like making videos and I like writing stuff. But I do have a narrative. I do the character. There's a couple of episodes where he's clearly lonely and hasn't really got many friends and he's isolated and stuff. And like, the reason why I'm so dishevelled at the moment is because my character in the latest episode I'm just making is kind of a bit of a descent into madness, and a guy realising that there's a lot of shit going through his head, and it's like, hang on, have I just wasted X amount of years of my life shouting about something that's as ridiculous as the Tooth Fairy, essentially? And it's a bitter pill to swallow, but that's why I'm trying. That's why I have a laugh. There's jokes in there, but I'm never too nasty. I like to think. Phil. All right, Phil. How you doing? Didn't come up in the chat. But I wanted to. So I've got the jokes in there, and I'm highlighting daftness, but I've also got. It's a deliberate narrative I had in there about social enterprise and how to provide a good support system for society, I suppose, and help social causes. And the point I wanted to make with that is, this guy's really paranoid about the government and stuff like that, and he thinks the government should do this, but actually that's not such a bad idea. The point there was, just because someone thinks the Earth's flat doesn't mean they've got nothing intelligent to say. I actually really respect the curiosity and passion for the truth, to be honest with you. It's just a shame, like, in Behind the Curve, what's her name? No, it wasn't Hannah Law. It was one of the scientists, one of the physicists at Caltech. He said, These are a lot of intelligent people whose curiosity should be admired, but unfortunately there was a fork in the road at one point in their curiosity, and they just missed the bus.
They went the wrong way.
To the right path, like if they were part of the real scientific community, they could have been a great asset and made some amazing discoveries. The shape of the Earth isn't one of them. We know that. That's locked down.
Yeah. Oh, we got Arave Enlay, which is Lemon Bird, showed up here. We still got, and then this Gathica. It's the evidence rejection it takes a lot of effort, it seems to me, to reject it. He keeps saying there's no curve detected, but of course it's been measured over and over and over, right? And I have put together a whole bunch of evidence of that, and I know what he'll do if I show it to you. He'll just deny. That's all he has, and he won't actually show measurements of flatness that are actual measurements of flatness. It's a misunderstanding of some just one little aspect that allows that misunderstanding to conclude then that it's flat. But the interesting thing is that there's not a lot of things that they do. They want to do some experiments, but it seems, 80-90% of their experiments are one thing. And what's that? Anybody in chat? What's the one experiment that they all want to do that they then go and claim definitively proves the Earth is flat? Anybody? Somebody lasers. Somebody said eye level. They go look at something. That's all they do. Yeah, any laser experiment. Pour water in a ball. That's funny. That's I'm looking for their one thing that they love to see that's flat. So yeah, laser. It's we can see too far, right? So it's either lasers at night or it's us looking at something over typically water during the day. Yeah, lasers across cold water during warm weather, and they totally reject. The first thing is they do what I said to Santosh. They use the wrong formula, and 8 inches per mile squared it's a parabola. The problem with it isn't that it's a parabola. The problem with it is that it doesn't take observer height into account. So they'll go lazy because they don't understand the math, right? They'll say, well, if I'm here and I'll do that formula and it says that there should be 33 feet of drop. That's for you, Mr. 33. And I'm 10 feet high. Well, there's 23 feet missing. That's still the wrong math. And they can't even, and I'm sure the flat earthers listening in right now are like, no, that's not, that's right. That's not right. You just don't even understand the math. It's not that easy. It's not that hard either. Water sticking on an egg measured with a laser. That's a good one.
Sounds about right.
Yes.
I mean, you're right, but they don't understand the math. And in all honesty, like, how many people fully understand everything on both sides?
It's hard, yeah.
I mean, when I look at
so much.
When I see the debunker community, I mean, we've got people in there that some of them obviously are like land surveyors. I know Phil's been doing a lot of stuff with equatorial mounts. You've got a collection of people that got their specific field, and that allows everyone to share knowledge. I've never been one to claim that. My understanding of how the fact that we don't live on a flat Earth is because at some point humans have got to be able to rely on peer-reviewed research. Like, I don't know I've got a heart by the logic of flat earthers. Like, I've never seen my own heart. So by that logic, I don't know I've got one.
Yeah.
However, I'm capable of understanding how many people have studied this over centuries. And it's the same with the shape of the Earth. At what point do At what point do you have to take other people's word for stuff? There is always a point, because even the smartest person and the most learned person, when they're 100 years old, who spent their whole life in education, won't even know 1% of the available knowledge of the planet. Like, only intelligent people know how little they know. Not only that's wrong to be that conclusive about it, but Dunning-Kruger's massive. Obviously, everyone keeps referring to it, but it is. I think you've got to look at yourself sometimes and go, am I really qualified to talk about this sort of subject, you know?
Yeah, and they say do your own research, and yeah, do it. I didn't engage with anybody on YouTube until I'd been doing on forums for a year. It was another 6 months before I did a debate. So, like, I worked hard to get an understanding.
Sure.
And yeah, we've got hip hop hippies, like, it's called Horizon, duh. So, like, the word proves it. In the mind of hip hop hippie, apparently, it's horizontal, or it's Horizon, not Curvizon, is enough for him. It convinces him, I guess.
Yeah.
Somehow.
If you look for something enough, you're going to find it. You convince yourself.
Yeah. So the second experiment that they like to do is the high altitude balloons. And there's a meme that they like that's got a section of horizon that's very flat looking, right? And they say something about how many miles and this flat and whatever. You know, it's different every time. But that particular image is cropped from a video that's got a curved horizon. Now, that particular video actually is on a GoPro, so when it's curving all over the place in that video. It's not a good camera. But they don't understand even basic stuff like, what's the margin of error of that measurement? I don't need a margin of error. Well, yeah, you kind of do. Yeah, somebody says this from the Piggy Cam video. So,
yeah, that's just basic denial, isn't it? Really, that's just.
It's seeing what you want to see. It's pareidolia in. The pareidolia is not the right word for it. Seeing what you want to see is, I don't know. There's another word for that. But you watch the video, and I had Santosh on, and he's like, "Here, this video," and he sent me the video, and I pulled it up, and I paused it. I first said, "I bet it's a bad lens. It's probably a GoPro," and I paused it where it was curved, like this, enough to see, and he's like, "Well, there's proof." I go, "Well, no, that's curved the wrong way." Right? So what he's like, "Oh, it looks flat." What do you mean it looks flat? It's not. And I like, you can see it's curved the wrong way. And so are you a concave earther now? He's like, "No, it's flat." Like, it's, I don't know how what's the word for that? Yeah, I've seen this
Stubborn.
Solipsism. I don't know what that is. I got to look that up. I've seen that a couple times lately. The view or theory that the self is all that can be known to exist. I don't know if that's the right word. That's a very esoteric word. So, here's another one. No, that's different. Apophenia is the tendency to mistakenly perceive connections and meanings between unrelated things. That's what 33UC has. He sees a 33 in a news report, and that's proof of flat Earth. Somehow. Gambler's fallacy? There's this Wikipedia article is pretty good. It has patternicity. That's a good word. But seeing what you want to see, whatever that is. And that's it, right? If you can look at a video where it's curved and say it's flat, then there's something going on. It's weird.
Well, I mean, that could be similar to, like, you know how some people with an eating disorder they physically look at themselves in the mirror and someone can
Yeah.
go, you're not fat, you're not overweight, and they'll go, yes, I am. They're literally seeing something different. I mean, this is where I think there is a similarity to when schizophrenic people sometimes have an alternate perception of reality. That's quite literally what it can do to someone's mind, and which is an actual serious thing. It is very similar to this. There's a lot of like the whole delusions of grandeur and the they and them paranoid delusions, and just we're not. It's not a different reality. Like this is, it quite literally though bends their perception of a lot of things. Trust issues is definitely. I mean, I've seen a couple of people in the chat saying, "Oh, there's a lot of paranoia in it," and it's
I have.
That is very true. I mean, I didn't really. I thought it was just harmless at first. Depending on how you look at it, it's not as serious as certain other cults, but it's the people wasting their time that's sad.
So here's something. You're not seeing it. Oh, you're seeing it on the stream, right?
Mm.
This I saw this meme here recently on Facebook. A picture of a rock reflecting light that says rocks don't reflect light, neither does the moon.
Yes, no, I'm popping around.
Well, what does that even mean? And then it says, of course, it says the moon is not a rock in space. The moon is its own light source. But for your proof of that, you have a rock reflecting light. Like, but like this was a meme. It seems to me was put together intentionally to mock flat earthers, to try to get them to repeat this horribly dumb meme.
Yeah, to an extent, this is the kind of thing that inspired my character, to be honest with you. Like, I looked at some of them and thought, you're having a laugh. Like,
yeah, can you be serious?
It's it's not that hard a thing to write because I've got all this to go from. Honestly, I look at some of it and think, you're definitely doing satire. Like,
and I think there has to be some people that are intentionally making memes and doing things to get flat earthers, like, to discredit them, and they take the bait.
Yeah.
So like here's another one. The majority of the world's population believe this is true, and it has like some cartoon pictures of satellites and things in space with the curved Earth, and then that picture I was talking about, that's a cropped version of a video, and call this a conspiracy theory. Well, this video, this capture on the bottom is from, first of all, a video that has a GoPro camera, so it's curved up and down depending on where the camera's pointing. And second, this particular cropped out area is it's not curved. At this part of the video, you can pause it. It's not curved here. So, like, it's a I don't know if somebody actually did that, like, I'm going to crop it so that the curve is gone so that I can convince people knowing that I'm lying, or somebody put it together just to, I don't know, make flat earthers look dumb or something.
Yeah, I think it's just going for a wind up sometimes.
Yeah.
It is just bait. Just, maybe a debunker putting some debate out there, or someone with debunking type mindset, putting something out there just to see if
I pick it up.
See?
Yeah.
I told you.
Let's see. Remember Catherine Masso? Is that right, Catherine? Says, remember the Bawabatra memes that added new continents and a second ice ring to the AE map? Yeah, I've seen that. They add, and they're like, at least they normally say that it's conjecture, but yeah, they have like the kind of the AE map, and then around it is the ice wall, and then another like ring, like a down at the water park the lazy river. It's got a lazy river on the outside of another water and land mass. Like, they just, I don't know. Oh, I've seen the ones where like they have like a little circle and then another circle over here and then another circle over here. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Silly stuff.
There's some really strong imaginations in this.
Yeah. So, what about censorship? What do you think about that? Is it being censored in a way that it should not be?
I think, what do you mean by YouTube and stuff to stop it from spreading?
By they.
I don't think they care.
Is they.
I don't think YouTube give a flying fuck about whether people think the Earth's flat or not. I think they're just thinking all these platforms are programmed to keep people on their channel as long as they can. You've got a flat earther spending 16 hours a day watching Up Next on repeat. YouTube don't care if you're falling down a rabbit hole or not.
If you're watching stuff, you know, and your eyes that the advertisers are paying for. And I think, well, if anything, YouTube was promoting it because the algorithm would feed it. I got fed flat earth content. That's how I found it. YouTube pushed it on me. Of course, you know, I also got the debunker stuff too. And I'm like, what are these? It was Jaren. It was a Jaren video. It was one of my first ones. Like, what is this guy talking about? This is nonsense. And then I think it was a Sly Sparkane. Was one of the very earliest ones that I remember. But then I found Simon Dan and
yeah, I didn't look for it myself.
And all that, yeah.
I think because I'd been watching stuff before Behind the Curve. I can't remember why. Because I remember one of my close friends absolutely hates the fact that this exists. Like, he can talk to me about it just about because he watches my show nowadays. But for so long, he was just like, it does his head in because he's the one who's met a few in his time, and he's a mental health professional as well. So he's actually met a lot of other people that, and these aren't patients of his. He just happens to attract people like that, as it would seem. But now in his job, he's met a lot of other people with not necessarily flat earthers, but with some big delusions. He was telling me about how he almost accidentally planted the seed of flat earth accidentally in someone's head once because they were talking about all the Illuminati stuff. He was like, yeah, I've heard it all before, Illuminati, this, lizard people, that, flat earth. And the guy was like, what? Earth's flat? No. Sit down. No. But obviously, because he's trying to treat him for something anyway. How do we get here?
Censoring. Is YouTube censoring?
Yeah, censorship. No, they're not censored. Well, it's... I've played around with my own tags and stuff like that, and I just think it appeals to different people. Like, I'll have a video where I don't tag anything to do with flat Earth, and I won't get any dislikes. And then if I tag it heavily with flat Earth, I'll get dislikes.
Yeah, I just
think that's appealing to people.
There's a couple things about that. You know, they just under a year ago they announced that they were going to be making some changes to the algorithm, and I think what they've mostly done is they've just kind of given a zero ranking to some tags that are pro flat Earth. But if you search for flat Earth, it comes up. I do it all the time for content. Yeah. It does come up, but there's other stuff that comes up too now. The debunker stuff comes up. But Multi-Tom-Tom, still in the chat, I found that video of yours where the sun was oversaturating the sensor, and so it was black, where you thought it was the butt of the sun. That video actually came up on my phone as a notification saying, here's something for you to watch. I am subscribed to you, I think. I do not have notifications on for you. And YouTube sent it to me. Censoring? I don't think that's censoring, you know. So Gathica, the sea eagle, most heavily censored subject online. They don't want all the sheeple waking up. Yet, here we are, and here you are, Gathica, able to type freely on YouTube. Nobody's censoring you. Right?
Yeah, I think there's more important things to censor than this as well.
If they're gonna, yeah.
Talk about safety reasons and whatnot, or just this isn't high on a priority list of YouTube. I think that's just another delusion of grandeur, to be honest. Like,
oh yeah,
for people to think so narcissistically that what they've got is they must scramble to cover it up. It's like, no, they couldn't care less. Really, they couldn't.
Yeah, and so they had the American Congress pulled them in and was talking about anti-science things, and so there was some pressure from that, but also pressure from advertisers, because if you're paying YouTube money, you don't want your ad in front of just anything necessarily, right? No. You would not want your ad in front of an anti-Semitic video, for example.
Sure.
So at the request of advertisers, who makes it possible for YouTube to do what they do, said, okay, we'll take some action on that, and we will. So they demonetized channels, and they even canceled some channels. DKG Custom, I unsub from so many flat earths because they're not censored enough. So like Owen Benjamin was kicked off of, like, deplatformed everywhere, actually, not just demonetized, but kicked off, and I didn't know why, and I looked into it, and the answer came up. It was anti-Semitism, is what it appears to be. So,
wow,
yeah, I don't think we need a place in society for those people to talk on somebody else's platform.
No,
all right, go crawl in a spider hole if you're going to be that kind of a person, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's perpetuating.
So the narcissism, like, some people are like, well, they pay people to go online and argue with flat earthers. Like, that is some narcissism there, to think that you with 250 friends on Facebook or whatever, and a pocket full of memes, are somehow a threat. Like, if they were going to do something, they would silence you. The only way that silencing works, right? Yet you're talking. So I saw today in a chat, they won't. It was about YouTube censoring. Said they won't stop me. To be honest, they'll need to assassinate me. They aren't stopping you. They aren't shutting you down. They're
probably having a good old laugh at you.
Yeah, they don't care. We're having a laugh. We're having a laugh. They is software that has no emotions and doesn't care.
Yeah. It's just keeping people on the platform. They're fine with it.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Sean Carroll, that's the next level rhetoric right there, MC2, and they say debaters are paid. Now, to be honest, my channel's monetized, and I appreciate super chats, and I appreciate membership and all that stuff. That's great. But they aren't paying me. That comes from YouTube, who is not they. Whoever they is, right? Software wrote by people. So the free thinker can't. I don't know where he's from, but his English is rough. Software wrote by people. You can't excise one from the other. I write software. We use some. We do some artificial intelligence. No. Software doesn't care. Who blocked Green Bullion? Not okay. No, it's whack-a-mole a little bit here. So, Yeah, and so Green Bullion is talking hoax stuff and talking about school stuff and where people really died, and that's disgusting. Green Bullion, that's disgusting. So you can go
What do you say?
away with that kind of
What do you say?
garbage. Sorry,
So what did he say? Because I haven't got. I've got to
I
look somewhere else from the chat. I can't really read.
I don't even want to repeat it, but he's talking about shootings and claiming that people haven't died in shootings and
That shooting.
and
Right,
that
yeah, I know that
um
specific.
yeah
There's
that
certain things you don't talk about as well. Like, I mean, I've obviously chosen to talk about these things in my show. I've consciously decided not to talk about certain things as well. That's one of them. I had one joke about anti-vax, but that was very, very obviously a joke, and I even questioned that. And things like even 9/11, to be honest, I've never made one joke about that because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people. I've got a lot of American friends. It's very dear to a lot of people to even hypothesize that was all either completely faked or and these people didn't die or whatever. Anything, I think you go down that road, you're just bad.
yeah.
Like, you know.
So let's do one here because Lemonbird just said something and that they is Lemonbird. I'll read it. One 100,000 K, so 100K mile altitude balloon. I think he means foot. 100,000 foot altitude balloon footage from much higher shows flat level land. Where's the curve? And so my question, first of all, is to you, Lemonbird, what's the margin of error on that measurement? Did you quantify the curve of that lens? Right? And that's hard to do. It's really hard to do. But there are some. So let me find it here. Let's see. The what's his name? Dwayne Kellum. That guy's awesome. He is, I don't know. I've said that I've been told he's a flat earther.
It's not to tell anymore, isn't it?
So let me see if this is the video I'm thinking of. Yeah, here we go. I see stars.
I like how this is kind of like a social spot for flat earthers as well, like your channel.
Yeah, and
they're all communicating via you're kind of hosting, you're facilitating a nice little community.
yes,
Not facilitating in a way, obviously you're not making, perpetuate it yourself like some of their hosts.
Yeah,
it's nice to see them bonding.
So, all right, so here is about, let's see, what's the elevation here? It's right on the screen. It's lovely. The barometric pressure, by the way, is 0.17 inches of mercury. So, Zep Tepe, he is a flat earther. I've chatted with him briefly. That's interesting. Oh, we've got the Mind of God in here. We've got a whole ton of flat earthers in here today.
Hello.
That's
I haven't spoken to many myself.
Yeah. So make sure you
comment on.
Make sure you subscribe to The Conspiracist. All you flat earthers, here, go subscribe.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. All right. So here is let's see. There's a spot that's curved. There, 117,000 feet is the elevation. Right? Curved. So Lemonbird, it's curved. Right now, we don't know that this lens, this is not a GoPro. This is a Sony A7S. And I don't know if he gave the lens. There it is. It's a Sony FE 50mm f1.8. So again, we don't. Somebody could go get the specs on this and could go get their own camera with this lens if they wanted and quantify the curve and look at that, right, and see how much curve do you have at this level. His barometer read, so Zep-Tepi, his barometer read 0.01 psi, which considered to be a decent vacuum in every classroom. He wouldn't have it. Yeah, so this is, depending on vacuum. Vacuum is a word that has many meanings. It can mean simply less air than a higher vacuum area. So if you have those, this jar, when I got it, it would have maybe had the top that was pulled down, right? And then you open it and snaps up. It's got a vacuum inside. Not much. Or you could say, well, the vacuum is where there's so little air that there isn't enough to interact with stuff. Or you could say a vacuum is absolutely perfect and there's no material at all, and which is an theoretical impossibility, right? So what's a vacuum? Well, 0.17 inches of mercury is pretty stinking low pressure. So, Lemonbird, you're looking at a curve here. Your claim has now been debunked. Anything you're gonna take that back, or do we get to examine the psychology of denying evidence here?
While you pose that question, I'm going to use the bathroom because
Sure.
no one wants to see me piss myself.
Yes, a streaming warrior. We don't need streaming. So, anything, Lemonbird? A curvy lens. There you go. So, Lemonbird, I knew you'd deny it. Of course, you have to. Every lens has some curve, of course. So then, how did you quantify the claim that you made that there is 100K mile, 1,000 feet, whatever you said, altitude balloon that's perfectly flat? You will just reject something like this because it's inconvenient for you. It's a weird. Yeah, it's Justin Franks. 50 millimeter prime lens have extremely low barrel distortion. That's completely correct. This is a 50 millimeter prime lens with with very low distortion. So, all right, he's back.
Just about.
Let's see. Oh yeah, my last point. If they were censoring a multi-century, multi-country secret, there would be no YouTube channels on this topic. It would be very skillfully and powerfully done.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to achieve, would it?
To hide it? I think it'd be very hard to hide it. You'd have to.
I mean, no, to ban channels. Like, if you really wanted to, like, if you was a lie, you'd go to the end of the earth, quite literally, to hide it. It could be done very easily.
But
if
boot them off the edge, yeah.
Construct was as elaborate as they suggested, there would be a massive system in place, shutting down every channel that's trying to spill the beans, as it were.
Yeah, or the sweet corn.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. About that sweet corn. Any new discoveries on the sweet corn that are going to be coming?
I'll go get him after.
Oh, sweet. Oh, corn, sweet corn. Yeah, it's the sweet corn conspiracy is powerful.
He's doing nothing.
No.
Just sitting on my bedside cabinet, just
sitting
being
there.
all smug and green. Yeah.
So I live in Minnesota, right? And south of Minneapolis, when you're driving to Mankato, it's the next town on 169 South. About halfway down is the town of Le Sueur, and there was a Green Giant plant there for a long time. Maybe there is, I don't know. And that guy, the Green Giant, was on a billboard for years and years. as you drive down the hill into the river valley, the Minnesota River Valley, as Hannah Anderson noticed the way I said, got a little too hard. So
whenever I think of Minnesota, I think of Marshall Erickson from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, I haven't watched that enough.
It's a good representation of the place.
Yeah.
Seems like a lovely place.
Yes. When it's super cold, it's not. Punchy, who's Canadian, says, if I try to say Minnesota, it makes me sound so Canadian. Yeah. But last week Punchy was on, and the other guest heard him say A. He goes, "Are you Canadian?" Glober Mom, you live on Little House on the Prairie Land. Yes, I've been to. They do a play or something in the summer. Been to way out to. I don't know. I wasn't that much of a fan. I went with the family. It was a good play. There was a fire. I like fire.
My geography of the States is terrible, to be honest.
It's right there. Good enough.
Pretty flat looking map you got there, mate.
It is. Well, I updated. So this is my old Rob Skiba and Globebusters. This is their map right here, because they said, both of them said the distance between the lines of longitude are the same. So this is their map. So I made a bigger version of it, right? So, and I didn't get time before, but I'm gonna tape it together, right? And it's bigger than the mini one, and put it on an upside down frisbee on the little pillar there behind me. So I was trying to, at the conference, to get Bob Nodell to Super Noodle Doodle, sorry, to sign this, but I didn't see him long enough to get it signed.
He's having a wind up, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know enough about him, but I think he's just let it slip one too many times. Just look at the little twinkle in his eye when he said certain things, just like, you're doing it for a laugh, and you know you are.
But his wife is like big time into it. Like, she spoke at the conference.
Good point. Yeah.
Do
you know what? Some of the scenes. I mean, are you aware of a guy called David Wolf?
No.
He's a classic snake oil salesman, but in the sort of wellness and self-care sector. He's an anti-vaxxer, all this sort of thing. But he organises these retreats. And effectively, it is a bunch of people getting together in the woods and singing songs, playing a bit of hacky sack, having a barbecue. And it is very tranquil and pleasant and everything. It's just like, if that was your ultimate agenda, I don't understand why they can't just be, let's get together and have a little seance sort of people, or some sort of...
You want to live in a commune?
Let's go on a retreat. Why do you have to bring anti-vax in? Why do you have to bring Flat Earth with you? No one wants to be the person to turn up to the pub with their Flat Earth mate, do they? So why bring that into the tranquil retreat realm? That's Bob. Sorry, I went off topic. That's Bob to me. That's
yeah.
I don't know why he can't just do that. Have a little barbecue around his house.
Because his wife's in on it. I mean, unless they're both in on it, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Jaron, he just Jaron and Oakley, like Oakley, he just, he's just kind of a horrible person, and he doesn't believe it's his money.
Yeah, I think you could be right there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Maybe after they that's a good question. If you were to get them on a Blue Origin, right? Get them up into space and go for a couple orbits, maybe. Would they come back and say, "Nah"? It's flat.
I don't know. I think you'd have more success. Like I say, I think they would just be convinced that they were drugged in the space training process. They're not going to skip that. That's what I don't know what's going to happen with space travel. To an extent, you're going to have to give everyone some sort of training, aren't you? Or I'm sure they're going to have to bypass that somehow. I don't know how it's going to work in actual practicality.
Yeah.
I think you'd be more inclined to get people seeing things differently from a reality TV show where they all visit the edge of the Earth. Or not, as the case may be.
That'd be great to make to make a fake reality TV show.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of calls for that, and that's effectively what I want to make my show. But with it, obviously, I'm having a laugh. That's effectively what I'd like to do with it in the future. Go and see different sites and stuff. I mean, yeah, but actually visit. I can't come to the States on the budget I've got, but I do intend next summer to go to places like Stonehenge in England, do a bit of exploring to further look into.
I'm sure Brian Kirby could find all sorts of flat Earth proof at Stonehenge.
I'm sure if anyone's going to do it, it's Sweet Corn Man.
It's what?
Sweet Corn Man.
Sweet Corn Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a half truth. I've always been it's a joke I've been saying for ages, to be honest. I've always been rabbiting on about Sweet Corn. Just for my own amusement. And then it sort of ended up coming into this improv. And I was just rolling with it.
Yeah.
It's a hashtag.
It's good. It. So that was kind of the topics I had. Do you have any other?
I think we've generally covered what I had written down in a general sense. I mean, I've got the different types of flat earthers. You got your con men who I do think just fully know, and they should just do a different sort of YouTube channel. That's what. Stringing people along
Patricia
unfairly.
Steele, she did that. She's doing her own channel, a different thing. M. Benz.
What's she doing now?
She's a vegan, so it's veganism and
I didn't know that, but I guess I know she is.
Yeah,
she's sitting behind the curtain too.
Other stuff. I always kind of thought she was a friendly person, and so
she strikes me as very friendly. And Sargent doesn't actually strike me as a bad bloke whatsoever. There's not a lot of them do, but obviously, like I've said before, I haven't had certain experiences.
Yeah,
Beach. I've seen.
Beach 8 says they treated Patricia Steele like crap, and and when she left,
yeah, I can see that.
Oh, I was like I was so angry at them for treating her like that, for treating a woman like that, for just being so horrible that she'd go on every day, and then people would just attack her. Like, quit it. Why do you have to be like that?
Yeah.
Not everybody, but
yeah, I mean, it's not like she's. Again, I didn't really see her shows live, but I genuinely think she thought she was talking about something valid and was open to it, because you could even see in Behind the Curve how she was starting to question whether her own, based on how conspiratorial other people were, to assume that she was a shill, and she knows she's not. She was actually starting to at least question it. I think she's got some. She's open-minded enough, and I think a lot of people. Sometimes it's very easy to. Everyone wants to point their finger and go, "That's the bad guy," or in this case, bad person, bad lady. Sometimes people need an enemy as a common enemy, just to make themselves bond better. And I think she fell into that category because she made it easy, not deliberately or not, and nothing she did of a fault of her own, but where she is. I think quite an innocent person. She's just herself. She likes to have a chat. She's obviously made money from somewhere in her life. I don't know where, but
I think she's independently set, right?
Yeah, she seems to be pretty set up. I just think maybe she seemed like an easy target because she doesn't seem like she's got a malicious bone in her body, so people could attack people without any retaliatory instinct. That's even a word. Good thing about my character is I can make words up, and it just fits the character.
I like making words up. Right? This here, it measures angles, right? So it's an angleometer. Right? And this It measures length. So what's that? It's a lengthometer.
Tape measure. Cool.
Right? Let's see. Do I have any other? Oh, here. So there's meters and there's applicators. So this is an applicator. You know what it applicates cut. So it's a cut applicator. So AT2 Productions, he prefers lengthograph. Ooh, lengthograph is good. So
nice. I like that. We can make stuff. We can go with that.
Yeah. So well,
but I've got a gyroscope here.
Ooh.
If you might remember it from episode 2.
Yes. I love that gyroscope.
Hang on.
Oh, is that going to work?
There's the old.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
I can see the
See
rotation.
the 15 degree per hour. Yeah, that's it. I use this square mile. Have that, Tommy.
Andrew Stoll, was that tape measure calibrated? Calibrated to what? It's I don't know. I don't know what you calibrate a tape measure to after you get it. Is it like you need to get? If it's a Scottish tape measure, it measures in sheep, right? Definitely.
That's an absolute fact.
Yeah, all of the traditional Scottish units are sheep based.
Well, it was their currency not too long ago.
It was their oh yeah, yes. Length is sheep lengths. Weight is sheep's. Right. Volume is actually sheep's bladders. It's about a half gallon. So I'm told.
Yeah, when they say it's never water always finds its level, it's whiskey always finds its level.
Whiskey?
In Scotland, yeah.
Well, Scotch. Right, it'd have to be Scotch with appropriate. Darn it, I'm not good on Scotch. What's the stuff they smoke to make it taste good? They burn peat moss. See, I'm terrible. I'd be a terrible Scotsman. Anyway, make it taste smoky. So.
Oh, there's various methods.
Barley.
They char barrels sometimes.
Malted
I don't
barley.
know if Scotch does that, but I know certain brands they char a barrel, they blast it like a furnace sort of blast, and then the charred insides, and then they age the spirit in that. It's the only thing I know about bartending.
So we should get the casual or the sarcastic barman in. Yes, MC Mictune is the Scottish version. Yes, or Mactune. I am saying I'm no true Scotsman. AT2 Productions said that you need to calibrate this to a nobleman's foot. So I'll do that so that I have it calibrated. I'll find a nobleman. So, well, if what was his name is still here, Gathica the Sea Eagle. You're welcome to come on and present your best proofs sometime of flatness and maybe some measured flatness. Sarcastic spaceman and casual barman. I'll switch them around there. Gathica the Sea Eagle, whatever. My email address is mctoon@mctoon.net. It's in the description of this video. Send me an email. You can come on and present your awesome proofs. I would invite Multi Tom Tom, but he would run away again. So there we are. I think it's about time to wrap it up. I'm going for a while. And I'll get one more time. I'll put the link to your channel in the description or in the chat here. Gathica the Seagull, don't I have to write something silly on my hand or forehead to join the panel? No, that's just 33 UC. I've had him on before, and he didn't actually do what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to bring proof of flatness, of some sort of evidence, and he did nothing of the sort. He just brought, he mentioned articles that had 33 in it. So, that's for him to come back on, because he's not very serious about what he does. So Gathica, you don't need to write anything on. You just got to be a decent person. So if maybe you can handle that. Maybe you can't. We'll find out. So, all right. Anything else you got there? Creator of the Conspiracist?
Just trying to think. I'll look at my notes. Yeah, nothing we haven't covered. I mean, I suppose it's a summary of what we've discussed is just, like Simon Dan said, just be nice.
Yeah.
Just because people are falling for this doesn't mean they're stupid. There's a lot to be admired in the curiosity and passion for the truth in this. And just, I'm glad that I've met a lot of the people I have, because it's on one hand helped me to sort of further understand the psychology of how people get tricked into these things, and also meeting the debunker community to tend to the things that even I don't know about. I say even I, not like I know everything, like not one of them. But don't know, I'm just rambling now, I think.
All right, well, thank you very much. Make sure, if you haven't subscribed, go subscribe to The Conspiracist. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't subscribed to me, go ahead and tell me what you think. Tell us what you think about our discussion down in the comments. And maybe we'll have a good discussion on it here. Be nice. And that's it. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Bye.
Later.